You're listening to the Foxx Den Sports Podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Todd and his three sons, Kellen, Garrett, and Gannon.
Welcome back to the Foxx Den Sports Podcast, along with my two youngest kids, Gannon and Callie. I am Todd Foxx, and together we are the Foxx Den Sports Podcast. We have Kellen is unfortunately out this week, as is Garrett, but we have the two most knowledgeable people with a lot of the topics that we're going to talk about today, which pretty much is everything, is Oklahoma City Thunder. I know we had a disappointing ending to the season. I think you guys would agree with me that if you would have told me at the beginning of the year we were going to win 57 games, be the number one seed, we would have taken that. But losing, I think, in the second round, 4-2 is a little disappointing, not to get to that conference championship. But a lot of good things came out of this season, and I'm so happy that we were able to experience that, because last time they were really, really good, we were living in Springfield, Missouri at the time. So, but let's go through, what your guys' Gannon and Callie, what your thoughts are so far regarding, basically like the season as a whole, and then this how it ended.
Yeah, I mean, that's what everybody's saying. Obviously, it's just like, it's weird that we're disappointed in a 6-game series loss in all the circumstances leading into it. All I wanted coming into this season was 6 playoff games. Sorry. I just wanted to see, I didn't care if we lost in 6, got to the second round. I just wanted at least 6 games to see like how the team performs, how they can do, so that way they can get experience. And obviously we got 1 seed and 10 games. So still very successful, just sad once you see where it could have gone. Final game was a good game.
Heartbreaking.
Blew the 17 points in the second half. That's pretty inexcusable. If you look at the last play, now like the play that he fouled him, like I wouldn't change anything about it. We closed out but we covered Luka perfectly. Because anytime, like in that situation, I thought he was going to hit the game winner. I was already content with that. So the fact that we like got the ball out of his hands, that's all you can do.
Yeah. I
wouldn't change anything about it. Flip of a coin, and something happens. They either don't call it, or he doesn't hit PJ's elbow, and I guess we would have played Game 7 yesterday. But anyways, Callie.
I mean, obviously, wish we could have won, but I don't think anybody really thought we would have won the finals or something. It would have been cool to see a series against the Wolves, but I mean, I think considering how young our team is and how little experience they all had in the playoffs, we did pretty good.
Yeah, sure. Because I mean, their top 2 players alone had more playoff experience than our entire team.
Put together, yeah.
That's pretty fair. And also, people are like people say that we were competing this year, but we weren't competing this year. Yes, we were the 1 seed, and they were like, "Oh, we were the 1 seed." Like, you're obviously competing if you're the 1 seed, but that doesn't totally align. So I'm like, I wish we would have made moves and adjustments, because we could have competed this year, but we didn't, and that was clear from their lack of movement and everything in the trade deadline. So yes, we were good in 1 seed, and obviously I think with the best regular season team, we weren't competing, so it's fair.
And you see Dallas out there making those trades for Gafford and PJ Washington, which it's disappointing to see that. And then we in turn got Gordon Hayward, and which we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Who made the trade first? Did we get Hayward first, or did they get PJ first? Do you know? I don't know who got who first.
I don't know. I can look real quick though. Let me see.
But that was just
Hayward on February 8th.
Okay.
And they traded for Let me check. So they traded for, it was the same day, February 8th.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, to your point, very disappointing end of the season. The shot, of course, who makes that big play at the end is well, I shouldn't say big play at the end because he was fouled, but PJ Washington, you knew PJ Washington at some point was probably going to do this. You can look at it two ways. You hear people talk about it because first off, I feel sorry for Shea because I think he's taking it.
Did you see
taking
his,
a little bit.
whenever they were asking him about it after the game?
What did he say?
They were like, this is off the top of my head, so I'm obviously just kind of misquoting probably, but they were like, oh, what'd you do different or whatever? He's like, well, if I could go back, I obviously wouldn't foul him. And they were like, or foul him. And they were like, do you think he fouled? Like, what'd you think of the replay? And he was like, I didn't need to watch the replay. He's like, one, they called it a foul. He's like, two, they reviewed it twice and they still said I fouled. He's like, so it doesn't matter whether I say I fouled him or not.
Right.
Like, they called it a foul. And then they were like, have you watched the replay? And he's like, nah, I can't watch the replay. And they're like, what do you mean you can't watch the replay? And he just looked at him dead straight and he was like, I don't want to watch it. he was pretty fed up. You could tell because he's like, I didn't want to watch this because it's a poor circumstance. But anyways,
right.
Back to your point.
And that's what I'm saying is I feel for him because you hear some people talk about, hey, he shouldn't have fouled him and he should know better than that. First off, it's game in the moment, all that. And he's trying to contest the shot. He did get ball. He got ball first, but according to the rule,
all ball.
You've got somehow. Yeah, and it's got to be out of the hand or something like that before. It's very confusing to me.
Imagine it as like
two
different events almost. Like he gets the block, yes, but then since he still has the ball, it's like a separate shot in a way. That's how I explain it. It's like, yes, he gets the block, but it's his second event, and then he fouls him. It's two separate things in a way.
Still confusing. And if you look at it, you think, okay, if he doesn't foul, there's a chance. I don't know what percentage of chance that it doesn't go in because I don't know what PJ's 3-point.
He didn't play good all night.
Sure. He didn't. Yeah, you're right.
He's like a 32% in the season, right?
Yeah.
All series he was on fire.
Yes.
Played terrible until the fourth quarter, and he had 6 points in that fourth quarter, I believe, and then he went up to 9. But so I mean, odds are like I don't know if it would have gone in.
It's possible, but there's no telling of what's going to happen. Here's what I just hate seeing officiating. And I'm not saying it's the reason why we lost, but it just at some point, like, don't call some of this stuff. I mean, it's just I hate hearing the whistles in the final 2 minutes where the referees are getting involved. I hate the fact that you have players that whenever they drive and it's an automatic foul, basically whenever they're trying to drive. Luka, for example, seemed like every time he tried to drive, it was a foul. And I don't like that. And it frustrates me as a fan when you see that kind of stuff. And then Luka, go ahead.
Well, I would say, because people, if you said that to like the NBA fan base as a whole, they'll be like, well, Shea does the same thing, but like based on stats, he's one of the lower people. So it's like per drive, how many times he gets fouled, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
his percent is way lower than like everybody else. So I was going to throw that in there because people.
No, and that's fair. But like I said, it was just disappointing to see it come down to that, and then you got this, replay, and everybody's all, oh my goodness, and then they wanted to ask Dagnall if he knew the rule, because if he would have known the rule, maybe he wouldn't have called timeout. He would have waited, and we would have been able to advance the ball and then get a better shot off. Which all that, and I understand that,
hindsight.
But it's in the because I mean, if you watch the replay of the game, I can't remember. Was Grant Hill doing the game? Who were the two? Was it Reggie Miller?
I don't know.
All I know is that former player was like, "Oh, he got ball. He got ball." Well, that player didn't know the rule either. I mean,
it's a very odd rule. It's like I said right before the podcast. It's like the Des Bryant. What year is that against Green Bay? Like perfect call, went right to the rule. Like they called it correct, but it's a very weird rule.
It is a weird rule, but it is what it is. I mean, we lost.
How to agree with it?
And I get it. And I'll be honest with you. Like, I know Minnesota's playing Dallas and Boston's playing Indiana, but I mean, I don't even care at this point because I don't even know if I even want to watch because I'm so frustrated with how it all ended. But again, if you would have told me at the beginning of the year this is how good we would have been, I would have taken it in a heartbeat for sure. But
And
go ahead.
one last thing about those final couple minutes is every game they come out with like a little report of calls they got wrong or calls they missed in the final 2 minutes. With a minute 45 left, Jalen Williams drived in and got blocked on a layup, but it came out that he got swatted on the shoulder, which he did, and they didn't call it. We ended up getting the offensive rebound, missing a three, and then
well, if that would have been Luka, he would have got the call. So
well, he would have, but it ended up missing the three. They got the rebound, and then that's whenever Derrick Jones hit that like unrealistic fadeaway. Do you remember that one right over Chet's like fingernails? So obviously that's biased, but I'm like that would have changed the game if he got 2 free throws right there.
Sure, and you can't lose a 17-point lead.
No,
you can't do that.
Yeah,
but we did gain some experience, and I mean, like Kyrie was giving us some pretty good props after the game. Like, I mean, he said that's one of the toughest
I couldn't care less about what he
he's
says.
ever been in, huh?
I couldn't care less about what he says.
Well, I get it, but I mean, he was giving us some little bit of props, so I mean, I understand that.
Everybody in their right mind should
Well, sure.
So it's not
young team
different, yeah.
So where do we go from here? I know you got maybe some contract stuff up that you wanted to kind of go over. Not every single player, but where do you think we're going to go from here, and what will happen?
Well, we still have obviously like the main guys. The two up in the air are the team options for Isaiah Joe and Aaron Wiggins, which I think we'll pick both of them and sign them to a longer contract.
You think we should with Wiggins?
Oh yeah,
he didn't have a very good series against Dallas, though, did he?
I think he had a good series against Dallas.
I don't think he did. I don't feel like he played as well.
I think he played perfect execution, which I don't know if you're going to fault him. You have to fault the entire team except one player, and it's like
no, I get it, but I mean because J-Dub didn't have that great of a series.
He had an absolutely horrible series.
Chet, to be honest with you, I mean other than game one and
great defensive series and like literally was all-time level for a rookie, but offensively he was just I think way too tired to do it, and people are blaming him for the rebounds. I think that is idiotic to blame him for the rebounds because rebounding is a team effort. And you get stuck in like a weird dilemma because if they drive, he has to contest, right? He's one of the league's best at guarding those shots, so he's going to contest. And if they miss, because they probably will when he's up there, nobody else is there to get the rebound, or he doesn't contest and they get a wide open. It's a lose-lose almost because nobody else helps to rebound. Anyways, I had to say that because people were blaming him like, oh, he only had 3 rebounds that last game. It's like nobody was giving him any effort, so.
Sure.
I think he overall had a good series, I would say. Wallace had a great series. Anyways, those are really the two big ones that people are looking at. Giddey's still under contract for another couple years, which hopefully gets moved. But I think we'll re-sign or take the team option on Wiggins and Joe, and we'll have I think $40 million.
Is it 40? I heard 30. I heard 30, but I don't know.
It might be 30.
Yeah, I heard.
Either way, that's plenty. Yeah. That is plenty,
all
especially once we move some guys.
So percentages, Callie and Gannon, that Giddey's back next year. What do you think the percentage is that he's gone?
That he's gone, I'd say. I don't know. What do you think, Callie?
80%? Yeah, you think it's like 75% he's gone?
I was going to say 80 to 83%.
83, okay.
I'll go 78.
78%.
But
what do you think, Paul?
I think he's gone. I think it's probably 85. Percent. At least that he will not play here next year. But it all depends. Like Sam Presti's a smart man. He's going to have to get a decent deal in order to get him. Or to receive something as well. So I don't think he will be back. I guess my thing is like, what are you willing to give up? And I know we can talk about some things here in a minute, but like, are you willing to give up Giddey and say a Wiggins a Kenrich Williams for, something obviously bigger for one player that may only be here for a couple of years, because I don't think we can get somebody that's going to be here for a long, long time, because we still got to pay Chet and we got to pay J-Dub, and with Shea. So those are, you can't get somebody that's going to be here for, I don't think you can, and ask them not to be part of the payment plan. But I don't know. I know we've had, some discussions, and I've heard some discussions regarding some players. So let's go over a few of those players. Maybe, like, what would you be willing to give up for, say, a Mikal Bridges? And Callie, do you have his stats by chance anywhere on how many points, assists, and all that
for the season or for like his career?
Let's just go last year,
season, and then his last season in Phoenix as well, because that's two different roles he played.
This season he averaged 19 points, 4 assists. He shot for 44%. And then, do you say to his career?
Just the last year he was in Phoenix, if that should be up there.
Oh.
Which is, it should be 2021 through 22, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, he shot for, what is this? Hang on, sorry.
You're good. I can tell you, I think he's like a 30 for his career. He's a 37% three-point shooter from the 3-point.
Yeah, and he would be probably close to 40 with us, because we would generate enough
wide open
looks.
shots.
I think I would love if we got him. He proved he can't be a one option in Brooklyn this year, and that's okay, because we don't need a one option. I think he'd be a great role player. If we upgraded from Dort to him in the starting lineup, or Giddey to him, that would be incredible.
See, I mean, like Dort. You're saying Dort. That's
yes. I think
is he better defensively than Dort?
No, I think he's one tier lower, but on offense, he's like 4 or 5 tiers above.
Who would be our best defensive player hypothetically if Dort were to leave? Wallace or Chet? Or
I mean, Chet's already miles ahead the best, but Wallace. I think by next year Wallace will be better than him anyways. So I don't have a lot of value on Dort right now. I love him.
I know, I do too. I love the guy. I'd hate to see him go.
I would be pretty happy if we upgraded. Like I said, if we got somebody like Mikal Bridges to upgrade.
What do you think it would take to get him? Do you think we would have to give up Giddey and Dort, or
for Bridges?
Yeah.
The problem is, I think they would want Wallace because he's younger, higher offensive upside.
You mean they would want Wallace instead of Dort? Is that what you're saying, or
yes,
both?
But I think they would want him instead.
Right.
I would give up anybody but our big three, and I mean, depending on the deal, a couple other players, but I would give up a few first-round picks for sure. Okay. If we got it for 3 first-round picks, Lou Dort and one of Kenrich Williams, Isaiah Joe, and Wiggins, I would totally do that in a heartbeat.
Gotcha. What about and we've also heard the name Jarrett Allen. What would he bring to the table? And Callie, while we're talking about him, try to find his stats real quick. But what would he bring to the table, Gannon?
He would be just an anchor down low. He's definitely a 5 though, which is the problem because Chet has to be the 5 to be his best, and he's worth putting him at the 5. He's an elite rebounder, elite like rim protector. Not any spacing, which doesn't fit our team right now, which is the biggest question. And he wouldn't come off the bench, obviously, so it'd be weird because I don't know how we would run him and Chet in the starting lineup if we were to get him.
I've heard people say that they think Chet should play more of the 4. You don't agree?
I think it's one of the worst takes that I've seen in the past year. It's been clear since he was at Gonzaga that him at the 4, good player. Him at the 5, like elite, all-time level player. Yes, like I don't think people anybody in the right mind watching any bit of basketball of his game, especially after the series. If you watch this series or this entire year, let's say, his entire first year in the league, and you say he should play the 4, not the 5, that is just proving you have zero idea of what a 4 and a 5 should play.
Okay.
Sorry, that was harsh, but like,
no,
I'm just upset whenever I hear that take because I think it's silly.
Callie, do you have any stats for Jared Allen, or do you need me to pull him? You got him?
Yeah, this season he averaged 17 points and shot 64%. So
how many rebounds and blocks?
Rebounds, that's 11, and then doesn't.
So it definitely help that for sure. I think he averaged 1 a game is what I'm looking at, maybe.
Yeah.
What is Chet? I mean, I don't know what Chet is, but
yeah, he averaged 1.1. Let me check Chet real quick.
That's interesting because
Chet averaged 2.3.
Yeah. So you're saying it would be very difficult to get them on the court at the same time?
Yeah, just because Chet's strengths at max is him at the 5, and Allen can't play anything but the 5. So
and it's not worth giving up a lot of assets for a guy that's coming off the bench. Because he only played.
Would be, but that'd be kind of. I don't think he would do it. Like, why? He's an all-star level player. I think. I don't know why he would want to come off the bench.
Yeah.
If in a dream world, if we were like traded a big package for him and he came off the bench, that'd be sweet. But
sure,
it's not realistic to expect him to do that.
All right. What about? And then I've heard a lot of folks say they would give up a lot to acquire Lauri Markkanen from Utah. What are your thoughts on that one? What would you be willing, and why would they?
I'd give up anything but our big 3 at a very high volume.
How many draft picks? Like how many first round?
4 firsts, 4 seconds.
Really?
Well, people don't know this, and this is like a secret, I feel like, but seconds have almost no value. Yeah. Maybe Presti would trade 5 seconds to get 1 first and then throw that in there, make it 5 firsts, which sounds like a big deal, but do you get what I'm saying?
I know.
I would do 4 firsts, 5 seconds. I really want to keep Wallace, I think, but I'll be honest, if we traded Wallace and somebody else, dude, this guy is, oh man.
I don't know if I could do it.
But, okay. Here, Cal, you want to read off his stats? If you scroll down a little, it should show his stats every year. If that makes sense. You'll scroll down and it'll say like per game or something.
Yeah, so which one are you wanting to see?
I see totals.
Lauri Markkanen. If you scroll down a little, it'll say last.
Which game or which year?
Do just this past year.
Let's see.
Any concerns with him missing time because hasn't played a full year? Doesn't look like it.
No, not really at all. No, I don't think so. It's like I imagine like CJ McCaffrey. He's always got hurt, but then all of a sudden he goes to a contending team, and it's like, all of a sudden he's like.
He's a 40, almost right at a 40% through. Well, this past year, 40% 3-point shooter.
Yeah. He would space the floor incredibly, right?
Yeah.
He knows how to move the ball. He's not a black hole, which means like anytime he gets it, he'll shoot. No, he can move the ball. He can rebound very well. He would crash the boards, and him and Chet would have a great rebounding, I think, partnership. He would shoot the lights out here, man. I think he would have some like Klay Thompson, not the best like dribbler or ball handler at all, but in Golden State's prime, he was getting 40, 50 points because obviously that many open looks, that's what this guy would be. We could get him 40-point games just because he would light it up. And even if he's having a cold game, you still have to guard him on the perimeter. Like, I don't know. Oh man.
Why would they give him up though? Because you said earlier off we were talking a little bit about it. They have Danny Ainge, right? Why would he do it?
Well, I mean, they're not going to do anything. I think that they would agree with the mindset of like you're either at the top or you're at the bottom. You don't want to be in between in the middle. That's no man's land. You're not going to get anywhere.
Right.
You're not going to
So
progress at all.
do they need to
So I think
blow
they
it up,
would-
you're saying?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think they would commit to just being lower tier for no more than 2 years. Nah, no more than 3 years. If they blew it up, they would be
Okay.
bottom of the table. But once because the West is as stacked as any conference has ever been in history, right?
Right. No, that's what I'm
So,
saying. You've got Denver,
let's say you
Minnesota,
waited-
Oklahoma City, Dallas. I mean, where are these guys
Let's
going?
say in 6 years, right? A couple of those teams are going to fall off. I think East, it'll shift to the East a little more, so it's a little more balanced. Then Utah makes a surge. So I think it'd be perfect for them to blow it up, commit to being pretty poor for the next few years. But
Sure.
and then we would get an incredible player that fits our system. Like you can't draw up a player that fits our system better. You know what I mean?
Sure. That would be very, very interesting. And then who are some other guys you got down? I see, what is it, Claxton or Julius Randle? Any of those guys?
Randall was a weird one that I wouldn't have been on board with, but I mean, to be fair, because people are saying we need a 5. No, we need a 4, and then we can move Jalen Williams to the 3, which is his natural spot, so he'd play a lot better. He crashes the boards. He's a solid defender. He would hold his own. You know what I mean? He's streaky, but he would have games where if we let him, he would, or if we allowed him, almost he could put up 40 plus and everything. Solid outside shooter. I would feel good about him shooting if he got an open 3. I wouldn't want to give up much for him though. Is the problem? I really like the idea and his fit, but New York would probably definitely ask for an overpay.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
No,
and
yeah,
why wouldn't you? I don't think any
Of
of us
course.
would blame
No,
them.
I agree.
But
I
and then
agree 100%.
Claxton, I don't think there's really much reason or chance that we would get him.
Yeah, I just know that like we talked earlier, Sam Presti, not everything he touches turns to gold. He does do a lot. I mean, I shouldn't say does do a lot. He does a ton, right? Like he's done a lot to get to the team built to where they are now. The Gordon Hayward trade, maybe not so much. And I know I wanted to kind of go over that real quick. I know you guys heard, like, I'm going to read off some of the comments that Gordon Hayward said at the end. He said, obviously disappointing with how it all worked out. This is not what I thought it would be. Certainly frustrating, but it is what it is. And he also added, I feel like as a player, I have a lot to offer. I just wasn't given much of an opportunity to do that. And I thought I was going to get an opportunity. So real quick, first off, and we'll talk about him, and then we can also talk about Josh Giddey, who was pretty classy in his exit interview. But guess how many games Hayward played in the regular season for us. If you were to guess, like, what do you think? How many games he played in the regular season? Would you think?
I mean, it was mid-20s, wasn't it?
What'd you say?
Was it mid-20s?
It's close, yeah. I mean, he was 26, but he averaged 17 minutes a game. So that's not an opportunity.
That's a hefty amount.
He had an opportunity, and I'm not going to lie. Like when they first made the trade, I was like, okay, I think this is a pretty good deal. Let him get a little bit more, gameplay under his belt because it's been a while since he had played, and he didn't make it. So he did not look, in my opinion, make himself look very good by saying what he said. I know he said, it's a great, young organization. They're going to be good and all that. But Giddey, on the other hand, was very complimentary.
Mm-hmm.
I know at one point he said, at first, he didn't, he wasn't the greatest teammate about everything because he was frustrated, which, I can understand that. You would hope somebody would be a little bit better of a teammate, but, he's got all the respect in the world for like the Isaiah Joes and that. So, I mean, good for him. But he ended it, I think, very classy. And what's crazy is you got Hayward, the veteran,
who's like a decade older,
who you think would be that way, and Giddey would say, but it was completely opposite. Completely opposite saying that. So, but anyway, it is what it is, and it's frustrating. Here's a question I have, and I called in on a local radio station yesterday and asked this question too. Do you think, obviously, Presti, a couple things I got to say about this is Presti probably tried to make some sort of a deal at the deadline, is just or close to it, before the deadline, whatever. I'm pretty sure he probably tried something. However, is there any part, do you think, that he just said, hey, you know what? I want to see how far I can go, or not I, but the team can go with this group that we have right now. How far, push them, get some stress on them, and some experience. And is there any part of that, do you think, in his mindset, he wanted to see how far this team could go? Because you've heard it all year long from people that, the rebounding, and giving up too many offensive rebounds, things of that nature. Do you think there's any truth to any of that? Huh? No?
Callie, you want to go ahead?
She agrees.
It is what it is. That's what he said at the start of the year. He wanted to stress test this team and see what it could handle, see everybody's limits, and then go from there. Which I agree with. What I don't agree with is being able to spot our two main weaknesses in our two big, just bright red zones, red spots, on the team. By the trade date, we knew these a month into the season. Yeah. We definitely knew these by the trade deadline.
And
we just didn't fix them. And the two were rebounding and Giddey. Those were obvious 1 month into the year. So I totally agree, because he was like, just write it out and see before making these big moves, because people wanted to make big moves 2 years ago and 1 year ago, right?
Right.
But he was like, before we do that, let's stress test this team in the playoffs, which is what he did. And it worked perfectly, basically, for that kind of experiment. I just wish we could fix those.
So let me ask you both this. Callie, you can answer this as well. Do you think other teams are afraid to trade with, I don't know, afraid's the word, but a little hesitant to trade with Sam Presti, because he has done so well? And if he's saying, hey, I'll give you a couple of first rounders for this guy, and you're like, wait a minute, there must be something about that guy. Do you think there's any truth to any of that?
Yeah, definitely.
I
think
agree.
One part of it, though, is that Presti just knows what would work for this team. So I think if other managers and coaches and players are going off of who he wants, it might not work for their team, and it's somebody that would really work for ours. So I don't know if that's really the best way for other people to go about it. But I could
because we're not.
That's fair.
factor.
Yeah.
We're not looking for a star. We're looking for a role player that can come off the bench or play. Get some valuable minutes. I mean, we're not looking for any kind of star.
Third or fourth option. Yeah.
Right. Correct. So we're not trying to get. And I heard on on the Sports Animal also. You keep hearing that Kevin Durant out there. They said there's interest. There's one-sided interest, which it's probably his interest versus, because I don't know if Sam Presti would even allow him back in. Would he make us an instantly better team if he were to play here, Kevin Durant?
Man, so we talked about this a couple months ago probably, and I was like, oh, no way, he's going to ruin everything. But I don't know, after watching this team, and they all, they play together, right? They got each other's backs, but they're all, basically super respectful. I think it would be sick to see a guy like Durant who just kind of got that, has a little edge to him. You know what I mean? It would be pretty fun. I go back and forth. Adding him to this team would be unbelievably elite.
Right. Well, one thing about him is
awesome.
He's clutch.
True. And oh man, I'm imagining let's hypothetically say, and this is not reality, but we had him in this series, right? Am I still in? I'm lagging.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, we hear you.
Shea did all he could. He played what I call almost as perfect of a series as you can ask. He had 4 defenders looking at him anytime he touched the ball, 1 to 3 guys on him every time he touched the ball, and he still played literally almost perfect, especially Game 6. Jada was cold. Chet was tired. Everybody was missing shots.
Right.
You add all that in, and you put Durant in there. He's not missing shots with him. He's not cold. If he's cold, he's opening the door at least for somebody else to be
somebody else.
At least average. which obviously that's hypothetical. We didn't have him against the series against Dallas. We lost, but
Yeah.
he would be. Oh man, that would.
I would
be,
personally.
that would be
I'd love
awesome.
to see him come back because I love the guy. I still remember where I was at the Springfield Sam's Club that I was running and I got this text message or not, the update from ESPN and
Shocking.
I started crying, yeah, because I was very shocked.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that would be very interesting to see him possibly come back because, like I said, during the heyday, we weren't here. We were gone, and we were watching a lot of it on TV.
Oh, I know. Kyle, what do you think?
I don't think your brothers. I think Garrett for sure would be adamantly against that of him coming back.
Which I would assume is either with culture or how he's he's a little.
That's the thing is you don't want the culture
almost
piece.
Soft.
I agree.
And that's culture. Yeah, doesn't really fit. But we needed somebody this series to be because you could see our guys kind of push back a little, which was good.
Right.
But we need that guy to be all right, they're talking mess and they're playing good. Let's get it going.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say. I would like to see a little bit of an enforcer somewhere. Somebody that may not be but they can come off and they, I hate to say it, just be a guy that's going to be hey, okay, you're not going to do that. And a couple elbows here and there and kind of be a little bit more, little tough.
And the thing is that, I will say this, he's never won, obviously, championship as the one option. When he was the one option here, I think he was too passive and let Westbrook take too many shots and take 100%. The control too much. But here, he didn't have to be the main guy.
No,
because Shea showed clearly that when he's the main guy, he's putting up a great game, right? So he's taking his shots. Durant has his shots on the side. As long as he was willing to accept, all right, this is his team and his team and his team, and I'm here to pitch in and carry us over the hump. If he bought into that, I don't know what could stop.
Sky's the limit. Yeah, because let's be honest. I mean, I think this season anyway, Kyrie has been.
He's bought into it.
This.
He's
you know what I mean?
He's 1A, I'm 1B, and he maximized that role. I think he could have definitely played better and more aggressive against us, but he did what he needed to win the series. I think if it went to 7, we would have seen a different kind of Kyrie.
So what are the percentages? What do you think the percentages are that he does come back?
12%.
I
don't think there's much chance, but it would be sick though.
I think it's Presti who would not do it. Do you
I
agree?
I agree. I don't think he would totally do it. Callie, would you want him?
I mean, yeah, I'd want him. It's not like if we don't get him, then I'm gonna be we are not gonna have a good season. But I mean, he'd be a cool person to add. But
sure. Oh, it'd be fantastic.
And percentage of him actually coming here, 14.
Yeah, I don't think it's very high. And I'll throw this last thing in there too, because we did see, like I said, some of our guys you never see really Shea talking any trash, but he was saying a couple words to a couple guys. Dort was getting pretty fiery, which I think he got a little out of control at times. Wallace was, if you look at the play that Dort's kind of talking to Luka real close, Wallace was trying to go in between them. But then once Luka started talking to Dort, he turned around and he was talking back, which I love. Anyways, I think we need that guy to initiate it almost.
Oh, I want some of that trash talking.
Chet's a guy who if you enforce something, they push back, he's pushing back with you. He may not initiate this feisty kind of environment, but man, they could live through it, I think. Oh, no, I agree. That'd be awesome.
100%. So we'll see. It's off season for us anyway. I know the NBA draft will be here shortly. I know we got the 12th pick. Did we get that from Houston? Is that where that came from? The 12th pick?
Yes.
Part of the trade, whatever. Yes. There's been so many daggone trades, I can't even remember at this
Westbrook.
point. But anyway, is that what it was? Westbrook's trade. So, yeah, whatever. It is what it is, but we'll see what happens. With that, I think I saw one of the mock drafts show J-Dub's brother dropping that low. That would be interesting.
Maybe sick. I just don't think we need to draft a rookie even this year.
Yeah, so it'll be fun.
Also,
it'll be interesting seeing.
Totally last minute, but if Ousmane Dieng, let's say he developed into what he could be,
right,
dude, he would fit our team. That's who we need. Incredible defensively, can crash the boards if he can knock down the open shots and and keep rotating the ball. Like I said, I forgot to mention that earlier, but
that's another. Yeah, to your point,
he would be a dream player.
These like Chet, J-Dub, Shea, these players are going to get better out this offseason. I mean, that's the like Mark Dagnall said yesterday. You've seen the low level of Chet. Like he's only going to progress and be better.
Well, this is the worst team we'll see of ours for another hopefully 5 to 7 years at least, and it's like
barring injuries and stuff. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yes.
True.
That's why I was content after losing. I'm like, we made it this far with being our worst. It's like that's pretty exciting.
All right, so real quick, we're going to transition to one more. Well, I got one question, then I got another thing we'll transition to. So you both, okay, so let me ask you this. So would you rather, this is a would you rather question, would you rather date someone that's really into sports, like as much or more than you, or someone that just doesn't care as much as you? And Callie, you can't answer this because you can't date anybody. But would you rather date someone that's really like fired up like yourself, or somebody that's just like could whatever? I
mean, I would go either way, but I mean, it would be fun if they were as much, I think.
Sure.
But it's not a deal breaker one way or the other at all. It's not a deal sealer either. But that'd be cool.
Okay. We'll see.
Callie?
Definitely as much.
That's what I'm talking about. See. Because let me explain something to you. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail, but if you bring a guy sometime to meet me and he doesn't like sports, I'm just going to kind of probably sit there and look at him like I've done in the past. So
I'm not bringing anybody that doesn't like sports, just so you know.
That's
you got about 14 years left, so
we'll see. You got a while. So hopefully Dallas win a Super Bowl before then. And then the last transit. What's that? What were you gonna say?
I'll say the Cowboys, not the Mavericks.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. What did I say?
Dallas.
Dallas. Okay.
I mean, I don't think they have to be winning a Super Bowl.
There is evidently a TikTok thing going on right now. Why are you laughing? Did I just miss something?
No, you said Dallas won the Super Bowl, and I just totally thought you said championship. Anyways.
All right, anytime you laugh, I think it's me. All right. So there's a TikTok thing going on right now to where you have to blow out all of your air, like everything, all your air. And then you've got to try to scream. But so don't, blow up. You think you got half, like you like physically can feel that you've unloaded the air in your lungs. Callie, you're up.
Why do I have to go first?
Because you're a little seat. Go for it. You blow it all out.
All of it.
Keep going until you like physically know, and then you got to scream. Okay.
All right.
I think you had a little bit of air left, Gannon.
I think so.
Good grief. Was that you screaming?
Oh, yeah. That's all I could do. Yeah, you got more in there. You're not there yet.
Not even halfway?
I can tell you. Yeah, you're not even halfway, man. I know you got plenty left. He's getting there. Woo! That's tough.
Man, knock me out. So anyway, maybe that'll be our little whatever.
Our little snippet.
Little snippet of the podcast. But anyway, good job tonight. Hopefully next week we'll all be able to get back on with your brothers. Hopefully they'll be here. We shall see. But reminder to everybody that we appreciate you listening to our podcast. Remember, you can subscribe for free. Go to YouTube and then put in Foxx Den Sports Podcast with two X's. Foxx Den Sports Podcast will come up. You can watch episodes that we've had. If you're listening in your vehicle, we're on all the different kinds, Spotify, Apple Podcast, all these Breaker, all these different kinds of different podcasts. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We are on Twitter, X, whatever it's called now. And you can email us at foxdensports@yahoo. Is it Foxx Den Sports Podcast or Foxx Den Sports? I should probably know that.
Just try both.
Yahoo.com. Try both, whatever. We get the email. we get emails. So, but I want to remind everybody that iron sharpens iron.
Please stay safe.
Be savage and not average.
And remember to join the skulk. And until next time.
Bye, buddy.
Bye, everybody.
Foxx Den Sports. You've been listening to the Foxx Den Sports Podcast with Todd, Kellen, Garrett, and Gannon. Find us on Facebook at Foxx Den Sports. That's Fox with 2 X's. Drop us an email at foxdensports@yahoo.com. And be sure to share this podcast with other sports fans in your life. This has been Foxx Den Sports.